Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, your Ultra Agent, X7, the host of Zenorama, the Journal of Heroes and Monsters. Today, we're going to be talking about the second and third episodes of Ultraman. The first episode is Shoot the Invaders, which premiered on, does it actually say? Let's see, it does not. First one was June 17th, so 4 days, June 27th, 1966. Here we are introduced to the Baltan Sajin for the very first time. The alien Baltans, who would not return to menace Ultraman until Ultraman Jack and Ultraman Taro, I believe, but have long since become his perennial foe that would just show up. He showed up, one of the few of the original series that showed up in Ultraman 80. So we're going to scooch here. The interesting thing about this episode really is that Ito here is talking directly to the audience at this point. So, because he's got a black eye, and he's going to tell us in flashback how he got the black eye, right? Because you want to know. And now we see downtown Tokyo in the middle of the night, which is, pretty interesting. And there's the Science Patrol building. So, yeah, Ito can't sleep. They're in bunks, apparently, and you can see that he's practicing his speech, which has shown up in many other Ultraman episodes. We're going to scoot forward there, and there's the lovely Fuji and Arashi, and something's going on, but we don't know. Or do we? Mostly this is just an odd episode because it's the only time in the series that the fourth wall is broken. There's no winking. Generally, there's no winking at the audience or anything like that. It's just, this is what's going on. And there's comedy here. It's a strangely comedic episode with Arashi wearing his slippers and them finding a great deal of fun in it. But you'll notice, a little broad comedy, if you will. There's the wonderful, the only car that the Science Patrol has. Let's go on here. The warning of radiation. No, that's not the warning of radiation. That's when they're just calling him. So they're investigating a strange place, right? I would love to know where all of this takes place, simply because it's very unusual. But they're looking into a UFO, and they're there because the alien creatures have frozen everybody in place, right? And there goes Arashi, frozen. And our first look at the Baltan Sajin, who are very impressive. Apparently their subtitle is the Space Ninja. They've never struck me as very ninja-like. And in the English dub, it's not actually shown why and how. There's Hoshino, but it's not ever shown why and how they are explained, because they probably didn't think it would matter to the kids, and really it didn't until we got to be older. But the Baltan can teleport and do all sorts of funny things. There's 2.3 billion of these tiny little critters, lobsters, lobster men, but not from Mars, on the ship. Looks like Hoshino's got a iPhone 7. Now, the show is supposed to be taking place in 1993, as we'll see in a later episode. So it's almost 30 years into the future. But everyone's frozen. Scoot. We just don't have time to go through all this. Come on, guys. What's going on here? Um, I will stop sharing if you make me. I can do that now. Nice little special effect beams here and there. Always a wonderful thing about the. Oops. There's Fuji. He's found a. Or not Fuji, there's Hayata. So he knows something's going on. Now, it's never shown that Ultraman talks to him very often, because Ultraman would have to know who the Baltan Seijin are, right? Come on, why isn't this working? I can't go through the entire episode as such. It works that way, but I'm just not getting. Sorry, I just can't fast forward it. Oh, maybe we could do a little bit of here. Let's see what happens if we hit that. It goes right back. Sorry, people. We'll scoot ahead here till there. No, we won't. All right. We'll go to part 2. There's Ito practicing his space talk, and that's what comes up later on in several newer episodes as an homage, apparently. But Arashi is still missing. Everyone finds it hilarious, and later on, why is this not? So we're going to blast the aliens if they don't show up. There we go. I don't remember, that's not the spider gun, that's the wide shot gamma gun. Something like that. Very deadly too. It's more powerful than the little spider shot. Ito's kind of a chicken. And off he goes after the. So there's our first time we see that particular weapon. It's used several times later in the series, of course, because it's a potent weapon. It's a good weapon. All right. There he goes. And he's speaking his language, whatever he calls it. But unfortunately, YouTube won't let you hear it. He's afraid of himself. Go figure. So here's our jump scare. The lack of music is pretty fascinating because it makes it weirder. They actually kept that in the. They actually kept it in the show. When they dubbed it, they just used the same words, which is pretty fascinating. So now they're taking him to hostage. And we're 15 minutes in. Uh-oh. He's really a good actor to show that he's scared although he's pretty broad at this point. And the possessed Arashi shows up, which the Baltan will do many times in the future as well, possess a human. And he explains to them. We get the exposition that he couldn't understand his space talk. The Baltan couldn't understand his space talk, why they're there on Earth to colonize it, and there's 2.5 billion of them. And back in the 60s, we probably had 3 billion people on the planet, and now here in 2024. Incidentally, before we get too much further into this, and I hope you've liked, shared, subscribed, watched at least a couple minutes, and left a comment. I don't know if there'll be a poll here. It's just difficult to do without a mouse. I hope your hummus of perfection is tasty. So let's get on with this here. Now everyone's talking. Now he's telling them where they come from. In the English dub, they tell them to go to Mars. They don't like Mars. Apparently, there's some reason because there's spacium they're allergic to. if I remember correctly. Yeah, but I don't know. We can't see the ship; it's invisible, and that's why they can't find him. And the Bolton, at least at this point, and in the sequel episode in about a couple of weeks, are tiny for the most part, except for the ones that can turn giant. So if there are over 2 billion of them there that are going to be giant on the Earth, that's going to be a problem. And now they've released their hold on Arashi. Ooh, ooh, and they have a wonderful Ultra Dart. There it is. So the laugh, of course, came from Matango, or as we knew it as kids growing up, Attack of the Mushroom People. We will be reviewing that because that is some movie. And now it's giant. I'll give you a little sound here and there. That's a great matte light. Oh, shoot at him. And he sweeps Hayata. Uh-oh. All right. Nice little miniatures here. Great. Great. I mean, they actually hit the Bolton and damage him and apparently kill him. Or do they? It's rare when you see a rocket or a missile in a Japanese movie hurt a monster. But this time it sure did. All right. And there's one of their powers. Aside from lasers, they can shoot some kind of projectile that's explosive. And guess what? Yes, they fly. The beta capsule is there. And Hayata knocks it off. And he just realized what he did. He probably said, what? Oh, what's the Shazbot? Yeah, that's what he said. Or Kuvat, if you want a Klingon word. I'm sure the Ultras knew of the Klingons. Well, what have you got to do? What are you going to do here? Well, this thing is flying around, strafing Tokyo or wherever they are. You would think Tokyo or Japan in general would have some kind of aerial defense for monsters. Tell everyone to get underground, which they must, because they never mention any casualties. That would kind of bring out the viewer and everybody down. Remember when this hairstyle here was popular? Oh, Hayata's going to be. It's a good thing he's an Olympic diver. The model isn't that great, but isn't that a lovely sound effect? Using the beta capsule, Hayata becomes Ultraman. Now, in these first couple episodes, obviously with this one being breaking the fourth wall, they were still finding their way. This footage would show up in the 1979 Ultra Battle, where I think that's the movie, the 1979 movie of the compilation movie, where he fights the Bolton and they edit it. They add an extra fight scene when he right here he lands or he forces the Bolton down, and they have another little battle on the ground. So I don't remember if it happens before or after he breaks there. I've only seen it a few times. It's a nice. I mean, by 1979 they'd really got the formula down. They're still using the Type A Ultraman mask, who is supposed to have a movable mouth. After episode, I think 13, they changed it to the Type B. And there were 3 types altogether. The Type C is the final one, which is, I think, the one they still use all the time. So, really well done, Lydecker-inspired shots. Sometimes they looked better than others. They have a fight here. And there's the Spacium beam. And that's it for this Bolton. Now, Ultraman, is worried about that. You'd think they'd worry if he helped him put out the fire. There, Fuji's haircut would be popular from Friends later on in the 90s. That pinning of the bangs back there. So you can tell Ultraman's face is very different here than it would be. Now, here he's scanning the heavens with his Ultra Eye, I guess, and finding the Bolton spaceship. Off he goes. It's a tiny little spaceship. It's a good sized spaceship, but he's 50 meters, so it's only about 25, which is a good, 75 feet. But it's a nice looking spaceship, as most Toho shows were. Off he flies into the sunset or into outer space. Does he throw him? What's he do? We don't know. Success! Success! You've done it. You've done it. And there's the. Did it blow up? Well, we assume so, but there must have been billions, trillions of Baltan out there because they just show up constantly. Like, they're like bugs. I don't know what Arashi's crying about here, but we still haven't found out how Ito got his black eye. And they're all laughing, smiling, joking around. Oh, and then, now he's going to turn to the audience again. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot. You still want to know how I got this, right? And he should have lied to us and told us it's funnier this way because, he's just there, bumbling. Generally, our wounds come from the dumbest things. I think Arashi's had enough of his sleep talking, of Ito's sleep talking. And apparently he forgets he's on the top bunk. And if anyone's had a bunk bed, now how he did this, hit his eye right there. And that's how now you know the real story. All right. And now let's get ready for episode 3. There we go. Episode number 3. This is called The Science Patrol Move Out, a kind of a boring title. Where they go, they're getting reports about a strange well. So the credits here, the song, there's 2 verses to the song and 2 choruses. So it lasts a minute 40 seconds. Hoshino and Fuji are at a well, an ancient well that has a strange mystery about it. And what do you suppose that strange mystery is? It's the monster Neronga. Now, Neronga was partially assembled from most of the Baragon suit from Frankenstein Conquers the World. It would it was just cheaper for Tsuburaya to, reuse a suit rather than have to build all new ones. Though there's only 1, 2, 3 or 4 where they did use the Red King suit a couple times, and they could just repair them or, and then fix them up. So that's why they would do that. And look, Hoshino's going to go down the well because he's, not the smartest kid. Just, what kind of... there's a nice shot. But he's smart enough to know how to find the wind so he can get out. If he can climb back up. If he climbed down, can he climb up? He's jibber-jabbering to himself here. But don't you all get the feeling that he may not like what he sees here? Like a giant eyeball? So, yeah, there's a monster. And then suddenly, the monster, Neronga, feeds on electricity. But it's also invisible. So you would think that, it's probably a hydroelectric dam there, which monsters love to destroy dams. Just ask Gamera or Megalon. Just take your pick. They do a great job of destroying the dams. There he is. Nice double exposure there, but he fades out. He's painted differently than Baragon, so you can't quite... it's disguised a bit. And obviously, nobody was watching these movies and shows over and over and over and over. They're not designed that. They're designed to be seen once a week. And who knows when you'd see a movie again on television and syndication. So there's nice springs there, but now we're getting to the report of all the electricity being gone out. Look at these snappy blue blazers the guys have. And Fuji has a snappy one as well. So notice the little, back here, the lovely little, what do you call those things? Well, I don't know what they are, but they're just fun little things, scientific machinery to add on and make you think, I wonder what that does, because we all did. Chances are they have a note somewhere um, that they. So this is a little unusual to have your, your superhero suit under your clothes. You'd think they'd be sweltering. Nice on-site photography. One of the wonderful things about any television show from any time period is that it's a time capsule of exactly what things looked like back then and how they were. So Fuji and Hoshino have been rescued. They're somewhere further away. So they take VTOL, or Beetle, as some people called it, because there is no B or V in the Japanese language, really. But also, this particular spacecraft or ship originated in Gorath. So Toho let Tsuburaya just do pretty much whatever he wanted to with their stuff because, he made them a lot of money, didn't he? ふわーっと消えていくような発電所は前から狙われてたんですよ。というと、時々異常に出力が落ちることがあるんです。 Come on. あの怪物が電気を吸っていたんですよ。電気を There we go. There's that lovely a lovely car. Although I'd stick a Space Patrol sticker on my car if I could. And guess what's going to be under attack here? They're at another electrical station, probably the same one we just saw, just in real life, because they're not going to blow it up in real life, are they? You just never know. Monsters that like energy or electricity. Uh-oh, something's happening. Dun, dun, dun. So there's a great, matte shot. If you know where to look, you can see where the set stops. Probably some forced perspective there, but it could be a green screen. And there he goes to go shoot the monster. Now, I kind of feel sorry, and I think everyone should feel sorry for Neronga, simply because it's just hungry. It's not out there to do anything. He's lucky he's not dead, with that kind of voltage probably coursing through him. Look out, here it goes. See, there it is, sucking up the electricity through the horn. And it's a nice sequence. It looks like the electrical grid from the show, from the actual plant. Look at that, really nice. They must be insulated suits, or otherwise Arashi would be caputto. Neronga does not make another return. Does not return for a couple of decades, I don't believe, except for in compilation movies, maybe one of them. But now they're figuring out where he's going to attack. There's Hoshino, blither, blither. And off we go. And here's the first time we see where the ships are stored and how they launch. Very much, Thunderbirds is pretty contemporary. And look at Hoshino sneaking aboard. You'd think they would lock the doors or have them, guarded so that the dumb kids couldn't do such things. But they do. How many times did Spritle get into the Mach 5 because they didn't have a lock on the trunk? Obviously, they needed someone to be in danger, and he and Chim Chim, you think that they would have just locked him in the trunk and they couldn't get out. But they didn't know. And you'd think Speed would know that there was another 100 extra pounds in the car, but the Mach 5 is pretty powerful. But I've digressed. We're getting here toward the end of the battle. They can apparently track the monster. Somehow they figured that out. But at some point, Neronga either eats enough and just becomes visible for the rest of the episode. And he's got a dangerous and deadly weapon. Good Lord, he's lucky he didn't kill everybody. So obviously Hoshino can be a dumbass, and they should have dressed him down, but of course he almost gets killed. We never do find out who his parents are, or why he's hanging out with the Science Patrol. Why isn't he in school? There's a lovely effects shot, and voila. Now, he has got to be, if he's still the same size as Ultraman, how big is that ship? Or how small is it for that matter? So, come on, little dumbass, get out of the way. Lovely effects shot right there, Matt. I mean, I think that Subaraya made use of Toho's that machine that they got for in the '60s, early '60s, to combine film elements. Them and Disney were the only ones that had one. He had the pull to do it. So you can find out more if you read August Ragoni's great book, A.G. Subaraya, Master of Monsters. It'll tell you all about it. Once again, I wish there were 2 volumes, an early one and volume 1, the early years, volume 2, the final years. It'd be great. I had about both of them. I have 2 copies of the original one. Now you can't buy them. All right. Is he actually going to shoot at it? Why has he got a add-on for this poor monster? And now it's enraged because little dumbass probably shot at it. I mean, I know they had a kid in there. They always thought that you needed a kid for audience identification. As a kid, I never wanted to see a kid in there. I mean, even with Batman and Robin, I never thought of Robin as actually he was like a teenager, 15, 16, because he learned to drive while he was in the series, even though Burt Ward was considerably older, but was small enough to pretend to be a young man, growing, well, you know what I mean. Flying Grayson, if you will. There he is. Oh my gosh. She's going to beat his. That monster has done nothing to this little dumbass. Oh, he gets it right in the eye, though. And now he's really, yep, he took his eye out. Let's enrage the monster. Let's completely put it on the defensive and make it, can't see what it's doing. Looks like you got both eyes, maybe. Out of power because you don't know how to shoot it properly. And you're loud, so he's running away. Oh, my head. Oh, he's fallen and he can't get up. Yeah, roast the little spud. Boy, did they love blowing up oil refineries and things like that, didn't they? All right, and save dumbass. You take him. I'll go try to fight the monster. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hayata, Hayata. And I don't know why he couldn't let him know that there's a lovely matte shot, too. Why he couldn't let him know he was Ultraman. Look at that. I don't remember seeing that before. Using the beta capsule, Hayata becomes Ultraman. I don't remember seeing the little circle. I'm sure I have. I've seen these episodes, I don't even know, countless times since I got the series. See, he doesn't want to fight. He's just telling them, come on, I'm just hungry. Now, Ultraman's kind of immune from electricity, apparently. That's got to be a surprise. Go ahead. I mean, Neronga has the size on him, and apparently can fly very well, but, well, ole! And we destroy more public property. Good job, Ultraman. Did you not ever think to try to get him out of town or into the water or someplace where he's obviously they're near water. He pulled a ship up with him. Once again, this is Haru Nakajima in the Neronga suit because he knew how to work in the Baragon suit. So he choreographed this fight, and they learned from him. I don't know if he was on the set for other fights, even if he wasn't playing a monster. Due to Earth's atmosphere, the color timer, Ultraman can only exist for 3 minutes in Earth's atmosphere because it's the needed sunlight to restore him can't get through the atmosphere. They play fast and loose with this 3 minutes most of the time for all of the Ultras. I mean, it'll go 5 minutes, probably 7 minutes at the longest. I like to think that, the reason he doesn't use the Spacium beam right away, it's his kill shot, but if it doesn't work, then he'll run out of energy. The more special beams and things he uses, the faster he'll run out of energy. That makes sense to me. I'm glad they had a 3 minute timer, and he's just kind of bullying this poor beast. I don't know what you do with it though. I mean, it's going to be, the more energy Tokyo produces or Japan produces, the more times this monster is going to come out to eat. So, I mean, did you have to kill it? Don't they know where Monster Island is? Although Monster Island, we don't know what year it was actually formed, but I just feel sorry for him. And I think a lot of us do because we love monsters. I mean, there was a meme going around 10 years ago that Ultraman was not a kind person, but, this monster would have killed many people just by sucking, when a hospital goes down without any energy or it attacks a hospital to get the extra generator. I don't know. I'm glad I didn't have to be in that. And in 1966, you just didn't think about it. It was what had to happen. You wanted to see the monster fighting act, the superhero fighting the monster action. That's pretty much what we were watching, right? I mean, let's be honest. It's only in it was with older eyes you start feeling sorry for the monsters. Oh, there's Hayata. I wonder where he was while he missed everything. I don't know why he couldn't tell people he was Ultraman. There's a lovely shot, well lit. You got all the extras. They didn't tan Hoshino's hide like they should have for stealing a expensive piece of um, expensive piece of machinery and using all the energy, and he could have killed himself. So, agents, on this final note here, this is until our next assignment, which I'll be back home in fossil bed. This is X7 signing off.